Okay, one of my favorite topics, influencers. Sometimes they come in a second, sometimes they come in a lifetime. And really quick, one of my first influencers was my grandfather. My grandma, my mom, my aunt, they came from Kyiv, Ukraine, and they went to Canada. Um and when I was around 4 or 5-ish type of thing, my grandfather used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal. And one day I asked him, because he talked to everybody, which is probably where I get it, but he talked to everybody. And I said, how do you know all these people? And he said, he pointed to this guy. He said, that guy over there. One day I smiled at him and he looked up and smiled at me and came over and started talking to me. And while we were getting to know each other, and then we ended up doing stuff. Another guy saw us smiling and laughing and came over too. And that was it. So as a 5-year-old, I'm thinking, life's pretty simple already. It's going to be easy to the road the rest of the way. I just got to smile at people. And then you kind of
Yeah.
overcomplicate it when you get older, but you shouldn't, because actually, even just a smile can be a major influence to people. So, with that said, we all have had lots of influencers, but can you share 2 or 3 that have been influential in your life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. My father was the very first influencer. Uh, I am who I am because of him. There's no doubt about it. Um, but beyond that, it was my high school history teacher and my high school basketball coach, Mr. Schindler and Coach Nitzwicki, who understood that their job was to help develop young men and women, and they did that. And then I was lucky in the Army. I had early on. I had um, a lieutenant colonel when I was a captain uh, that really made a difference in my life. And it started with just him listening. He'd ask a question, passing the hallway. And the first time he did it, I passed him in the hallway and he said, "How are you today, Oak?" And I said, "Fine." And I just kept walking. He said, "No, no, no, no. Come here. How are you? I want to know. I want to hear about what's going on in your life." He said, "How's your wife and how's your kids?" And, so very busy man, but never once did I see him look down at his watch like he had somewhere better to be. And so I learned that, kind of like the smile. I learned that that is very important to ask people and then listen to what it is that they are actually saying. So those were probably the 4 biggest influencers in my life,
Mhm.
um, certainly early on in my life.
Yeah, I love that, because in sports we're also taught by one coach saying how you doing, and you say fine, and you don't ask them how you doing. He'd say, well, I'm fine too, thanks for asking. Type of
Yeah,
thing. So even you're right, simple things like that were taught that made a difference. So yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, I think it teaches us something too. Um, we're influencing people all the time, and most of the time we don't even know it. And I think we have a choice to be positive or the alternative. And the alternative,
absolutely.
you know, thank you for sharing that.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you, Mark. And one of the things I always tell people, I try to end every one of my talks when I'm out talking to people with the exact same thing. I said, your goal should be every day to go out and make one positive influence on one person. One positive influence. Be a positive influence for one person. Make a difference in somebody's life. Imagine how much better our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, our cities, our towns, our state, our country would be if everybody did that.